And so I think the strengths that we have is we just have great staff. We have great staff. We have great students. We have parents that are, the vast majority of our parents really do want what's best for their children. I haven't met a parent that said, I don't want what's best for my kid. I've never met a kid, never met a parent that said that, right? So they all want what's best for their, it's not the vast majority, they all want what's best for their children. So we do have a great opportunity here to again, constantly break down that perception that, that either, whether it's the educators or the city or the parents or students don't care about their education. It's just simply not true. So our strength is in our community. Our strength is in our collaboration as a group. And I think our areas of weakness, we're always going to be challenged with barriers. In Waterbury, we do have additional barriers. We have more, students deal with more housing insecurity than some of our suburban peers. They deal with more food insecurity than some of our peers. They deal with more socioeconomic conditions that make it more difficult. Maybe they deal with transportation issues that some of our suburban peers don't have to think about how to get to point A to point B. Those barriers do exist and they are present, and I think that they are a barrier, but they're not an excuse. And that's the big key here, is that sometimes I hear, well, they're dealing with all these things. How can they possibly achieve at this level? And I don't agree with that. I think they're barriers. I think it's our job as a community and as a system to find ways to help break down those barriers for kids. Those are the challenges, though. That's the big challenge in front of us. And I think the biggest one besides those barriers is many of our students, and because of those barriers, they come to our kindergarten. About 70% of our students are not kindergarten ready, according to the kindergarten readiness inventory, KRI. And so if you think about that, 70% of our students aren't necessarily kindergarten ready. You're constantly, think about it as a kindergarten teacher. You have 20 students in the classroom, and 14 out of the 20 technically aren't ready for the standard that we're about to present today. Mm-hmm. And 6 are ready. And so it makes it really difficult to then provide intervention groups and to support students' individual growth, and to not only close that gap, but to surpass a gap. And so right from the beginning, we know that a lot of our students and our teachers are doing everything they can to overcome that type of data. And so, although somewhat unique for a school system, I really do believe that a good amount of the work that you may see in the next 5 years may not always be about what's necessarily happening for 5-year-olds to 18-year-olds. I'm going to continue that work, but I'm really interested in working with the mayor's office and working with our partners on what can we do for our community for Burst to 5. I think that since I was interim and since I've been the superintendent, there are a few key things that I've done to try to help that morale out. And I think starting with, you have to celebrate the small wins. And so when Westside came off turnaround, because they were a turnaround school for the last 5 years, they get off turnaround last year. And so we made a big deal. We had a pep rally at the school. We made sure, we had a luncheon for the teachers, and we celebrated all the hard work that they've done. So I think just recognizing how hard their job is a good place to start, because it is a difficult job. And because they're so passionate and they care so much about our students, they put 100% in. And you have to recognize that for our staff members. So number one, recognizing the good work and celebrating the wins. That last week we walked through 3 of the elementary schools or schools of distinction. And, I was like, let's get banners for them. Let's walk through the schools. And students were cheering as we walked through the schools with the principal. And it was really to celebrate the students and the staff and to say, hey, what you do on a daily basis matters. And when you get these schools of distinction awards, we're not just going to send you an email and say, good job. We're going to come, we're going to visit you, and we're going to make a big deal of this. And so I think a part of that is just, also being open for communication, like I said before.